just woke up and I thought to myself about this recent situation as to why there's no food in the house. Do I care that there's no food in the house? No. Am I complaining? No. Just something I noticed. And that is my brother's girlfriend had said last week that my brother did something that made her very upset. And what that was she somehow, some way relayed a message to him in regards to the rent. And what he got out of that was, oh, you just gonna pay all the rent, right? The whole whatever. And that made her very upset, because she comes and tells me, CJ, your brother is mad because he, for some reason, thought that he didn't have to pay his half of the rent, and now I'm stuck with paying all of the rent. She say, CJ, I've been paying for all of the food out of pocket. You see, because not only are you a fat, disgusting slob, but you also live off the government. And she does not have the food stamps that she usually has, because she will say that, well, do you know how expensive it is to feed my family? I come from a home where we ate leftovers. I come from a home where we had things like hot dogs and chips. Some nights we would have to just make sandwiches and stuff and not have anything. And my parents make more money than they do. The problem is all of the extra eating when you're outside the house. And that's where the problem is that there's a lot of frivolous money spending, a lot of bad habits that I believe my brother would not indulge as much as he does if he wasn't with this person. Something tells me he would get hungry, but he wouldn't get hungry as often. He would want snacks and stuff like that. But see, here it's almost like he's fell in line with the kids as well when it comes to how often he may eat. If somebody prompts you to want to eat a snack, or if they come in the kitchen and say, I'm going to make pancakes and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, especially a weed smoker, they're gonna eat it, you know? You think about the average person and how often they eat. Some people do overeat, and you really can't even tell as far as their body and stuff. You can't tell. But nevertheless, that happened, and that made her very upset. Some things I'm just kind of getting tired of hearing my brother's opinion about, because a lot of things that I'm hearing on his end is just straight nonsense. Shit that just makes no sense. And it's inexcusable. So what I bring that up for is when he says, well, we don't have the money to be feeding another mouth, and I've already explained to y'all how much food goes to the trash, etc., etc. But those are the type of knuckleheaded ass things that I'm talking about when I say that they're, they're just dumb. What makes you think? Oh, and sorry, the whole caveat of me bringing that up is, instead of paying rent or anything, he goes and buys clothes, shoes. That's what she says. She said, CJ, for some reason, I don't know where he thought that I was going to do it all on my own. But that to me was just, that pissed me off. But because, again, she's a piece of shit as well, it's easy to just overwrite it. Because usually with me, if you make that kind of mistake, it's going to take a while for me to get over the fact of it's equivalent to when my roommate one time gave a man at the corner store, the guy that worked there, gave this man $400. The man got so used to him coming in the store, flashing his money and all of that when he would buy his alcohol. And the the guy had told my friend, like, hey man, they're getting ready to shut my business down. I need some money right now to keep it running. I need $400. My friend, don't know this man from a hole in the wall, gives this man $400. All of a sudden, my partner is like, man, rent and stuff like that, it's been difficult, so on and so forth. And I'm like, well, what happened? And he didn't want to tell me that he gave away the $400 because he knew that the type of judgment that would be rendered upon him from me, I don't even have to talk. I can just look at you like, and there's nothing worse than a person who thinks they're in control having to eat crow, having to look stupid, having to experience embarrassment. Because in their mind, I got it all together, I can't possibly be embarrassed. Well, yeah, you can. So that's the type of stuff that when I look at my life and CJ, did you make mistakes like that? Hell no. Hell no. Hold on, guys. Sometimes the neighbors walk so close to the house that you think somebody's coming inside. Sorry about that. But that's an example of what I talk about when I tell myself, how many times do people put themselves in situations that if it wasn't for the privacy of their own home, if you would have put that on Front Street, a lot of people, let's just say she was a content creator and she was to say that on the internet, you know how many people would lambaste and throw stones at my brother like, you fucking bum. It's clear as day that you living off this female, bro. And you're using the fact that, well, we got a son together. That don't mean shit, bro. That don't mean anything. Because if you were really serious about your sanity, about the standards that you set for yourself, you would tell yourself, bro, I will sleep in my goddamn car. At least I know the car is clean. The car is not going to debate with me on whether we should turn right or left. The car is not going to, I have control over this environment. I would pay rent to keep all my girly shoes in some storage unit somewhere. All my clothes, I can take them back to my mom's house or something, ask them to hold them in an extra room somewhere. But as far as what goes on here, this is unacceptable. He will not take that leap of faith. I've taken that leap of faith 3 times in my life. 3. And you know why I think that a lot of these benefits that my family might give me are not given to me? I don't have children. The reason that I feel, other than the fact that you are his blood mother, my stepmother does not care to help me in that way or be concerned to help me in that way. And I could still be wrong about it, but it's because I don't have children. Even if I had children, I feel like there still would be no acknowledgement of we have to help him for the sake of the child. See, but with my mother, my brother didn't have sex with Tom, Dick, and Harry. So you have basically people are so close. The people that you've had children with, they're so close together that there can be an opinion formed about you to the point where you won't even be able to walk down the street without somebody saying, "There go that sorry ass nigga again. There go them sorry ass grandparents again." So my mom and dad, in particular, my stepmother, they break their back because they don't want to look like the bad grandparent. Does that make sense? What kind of a grandparent would they be? What kind of a grandmother would you be if your son has his first son, that's your first grandson, and you start to basically make him, you force him to look through a certain lens of life that would be a rude awakening. So you mean to tell me you're not gonna watch him if I ask you to? See, it's just the joy and the excitement of having a grandchild that made you interested in the first one. The second one, that's when it starts to become, okay, I can clearly see the mother that you had the child with. She's very hard to deal with. Again, they don't advise you to leave a female. They don't advise you to second guess it. My parents don't know anything. So they basically just go along for the ride with you. You know? So, I feel like that's, and I was trying to tell my brother that in a nice manner, that, bro, the fact that you've had all these fucking kids is the only reason why mom and dad basically have to force themselves to be involved with you. I can't imagine the pain of hearing your mom and dad say, "No, we're not helping you take care of the child. We're not doing it." And I wrote something down on my notes that I forgot to talk about last night, and that is when my brother gave me the $10 that I had asked my mother for over the phone. He comes in there and he just throws it on top of my phone, and I was like, "What is that?" He was like, $10 you asked mama for. Wait a minute, Captain Pride. I thought that, there's nothing wrong with, because trust me, that is the greatest form of pride suppression when dealing with my parents, is that you already know what the answer gonna be. Are you afraid enough? Do you think you too good? Which I don't understand how how can that be a feeling of, I feel too good to ask somebody for financial help? But the whole point is where's the attitude? Why all the attitude, bro? See, there's some type of false reality that these people live in. Is once again why I said I wanted to be by myself. What do you think I'm supposed to be doing all day? Just riding around on the scooter, walking into businesses saying, "Hey, y'all hiring?" You think I'm supposed to get home late, having this cartoon-like reality of, well, I see what he doing out here. When we go ask to play basketball, he's traveling 50 miles to find a job and walking back and drenched in sweat. Now I think he's trying. I told you, it is the greatest, one of the biggest forms, one of the biggest slaps in my face is to say, throughout this entire 6 months, all the tears that I've shed, all the anger that you've seen me experience, the fact that when we go play basketball, I can't even focus on the game because I'm just like, bro, you ain't got no damn job. Why are you out here trying to play basketball? And Mr. Pride will tell you, you gotta learn how to block it out. You gotta learn how to block it out. Wait, so am I not trying enough? Or am I trying so much so that nothing else matters to me in life only but finding a job? Doesn't make sense. So I found that to be very funny last night, that you go and you look upset helping me with $10. Motherfucker, that's what you're supposed to do. As a dude that sat here and cleaned this filthy ass fucking kitchen to the point where I have to tap out. If I pan this fucking camera around and show y'all this, You really think that I do the things that I do in my life, and you think that I don't want to take that same attitude into the workforce? I've already said this in another video. In this society, since about 2005, 6, 7, society has shifted in a way that there are more stupid, low-functioning people than there are intelligent people. People that have their own thoughts, their own opinion. They're creators, innovators, trailblazers. There are far more people that just go along with the flow. Okay? And as wacky as you might think you dress, I'm gonna say that again. As wacky as you might dress, all the little glitter clothes and shoes you got on, that's different. No, it's not different. That's in this world, in this time and age, you can't consider that to be something that is abstract. You just look like a clown. I dress different than everybody, you know? Well, you know? So, I'm going to come back here after I eat my breakfast. And I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna ramp it up. And it's gonna get pretty damn violent with the stuff that I gotta say. I'll let you in on a hint. In the words of Charleston White, I just been running plays. I don't give a fuck about you people. I don't. There was an opportunity for me to give a fuck about y'all when Jerry died. Maybe thinking that you niggas would act a little different and kind of open up your eyes to certain realities of this world. Nope. Y'all done gone right back to y'all stupid ass default setting of being blind, deaf, and dumb. Blind, deaf, and dumb. So, I'm going to piggyback off that statement after I eat my breakfast. And I'll see y'all later. Alright, I done had me a good breakfast. A pancake and an egg. I will be pretty surprised if you know, there's a sense of you trying to starve me out or whatever, trying to make me realize how difficult it is for y'all during this time where y'all can't go buy $200 worth of food stamps and stuff like that, so you would much rather keep all these, you know, all the food in the room. Again, I've exposed my brother's girlfriend for exactly who they are. They're both of them. They're both selfish. Somebody had said in the comments one time they are both narcissists. Wouldn't you think it'd be pretty diplomatic and considerate to text somebody who's living with you unemployed, who has not shown any indication of abusing any of the privileges given to me here? Wouldn't you think it'd be necessary or convenient and considerate and thoughtful enough to text somebody, hey, if you know you need me to leave you out a bag of noodles, do you have your own means of how you gonna eat before I cook dinner? You know, just consider, because if I was the boyfriend of a female that my brother is staying with me, I would tell her, let him know that we, you know, we got to keep the food in the room for now and so on and so forth. If he need us to leave out a pack of noodles or something, we can do that. No. There was something that I want to show. Excuse me. Two things that I want to show, actually. And that is the scene from Nefarious. And it's also a certain portion of a video that I was watching from someone I'm subscribed to. He had made a video 6 months ago, it says on my timeline, and he says something toward the end of the video that I had to save it. It's still saved in my clips on YouTube. But if I can find it here, I will play it. But when I was saying before I started eating my breakfast about not giving a fuck about any of these people, my brother, his girlfriend, the kids, care about y'all? Not at all. That ship sailed probably a month after me living here. I started to see that you guys, my brother, there's one, if there's one thing that ticks me off about a person, especially a man, is when he allows a female to be able to prompt certain things about his personality that if she wasn't there, he would not do it. So what do I mean? I remember when I went to one of the kids' football games before all of this stuff took off. What I mean took off, meaning basically it reached a point where, it's, hey, you can come and we'll pay for you and all of that. Once that ship sailed, as far as we're not asking him if he wants to go, I started to realize certain things that I've always seen that my family takes me as a joke. And the first indication that I seen of just a major level of immaturity and a need to want to embarrass somebody or not just take the spotlight. It shows a lot about a person when this is what happened. It was hot and I'm standing up in the bleachers just by myself. You could just kind of see me, and that I'm just right there smack dab in the middle of the bleachers, and there are other people around, but I kind of have my own little space. And my brother and his girlfriend went down to the field to go take pictures with the kids, and I'm sitting there with my shirt unbuttoned because it's hot, and I'm dressed appropriately. So you see my brother over there and his girl, like two little girls in school. Look at CJ over there. Look at him. Look at him. And I'm standing there like a damn statue. And I know what they're doing. I've been dealing with this since I was a kid. We go take family pictures and everybody like, CJ, why you look stiff? CJ, why you not smiling? CJ, why you... Ugh. And there's almost like a hazing, so to speak. Like a humiliation ritual that these people engage in, almost like it gives them like some little small dose of I don't know, I guess to make themselves feel better. I don't know. But that was a moment where I was like, that right there would have, if my girl would have flagged me down and say, look at your brother over there, he ain't got his shirt buttoned up, look how he just standing over there, I'd have been like, what is he doing? What is he doing? I'd have chunked the deuce up and said, hey, what's up, bro? But they're over there looking and laughing and giggling like two little grade school girls. And my brother was like, button your shirt up, bro. Button your shirt up. And I was like, yeah, tell the summer heat to button the shirt up. I'm not buttoning up shit. Because those are moments right there where you're supposed to acquiesce to their command because you don't want to be embarrassed. I don't give a fuck what y'all over there snickering about, you two goofballs. The second thing was when we go to the gym, when we was going to 24-hour fitness, all of the 2 times that we went, because that was something they couldn't even afford to maintain. And when we get there, I go straight into the gym. I don't need to walk into a building. That's what I say about Charleston White. I walk everywhere by my motherfucking self. I don't need nobody to stand by me and laugh and giggle with me and feel what I feel and think what I think is funny. I don't give a damn. I'm a man that stands on his own 2 feet. I don't need nobody to support me and prop me up. If I think it's funny, it's funny. So when I'm in the gym and I'm all the way over there in the corner, you can see them walking in. Look at CJ standing over there in the gym. I'm like, what's funny? But see, I've told you about her personality. They get a kick out of embarrassing people, humiliating people. What the scriptures say, they like to prompt their children to anger. Have their children so caught up in their emotions where the damn child starts to cry. Next thing you know, they're the same parents that'll say, shut up, stop crying. You a crybaby. You see? So, I don't care for these motherfuckers at all. Because it's the same feeling that I felt for the last 15 years of my life. There is something about my personality that just don't fit with the family. Period. Period. I'm on another spiritual level than you niggas. I have a deeper understanding of life than you niggas. I have concrete evidence as to why y'all are the way y'all are, and I am the way I am. I've met more people to say, man, you on the right track, than I've met people to say, you CJ, you don't know nothing about what you talking about. I told you the Indian man at the smoke shop was like, bro, don't even worry about it. All you being is like a rubber band wrapped around your finger being stretched and stretched. And when you finally get a chance to let loose in life, the sky's the limit for you, dog. That's the same dude that always gives me 2 grams for $5. And like, he just makes it a thing because he feels the connection when I walk inside that building. I don't ask him, hey man, hook me up. I don't do none of that shit. I don't do that. I don't walk around expecting handouts. That man is running a business. You my homeboy though, man. We cool, ain't we? Yeah, but that don't mean I'm supposed to give you free shit. But he does it anyway out of the kindness of his heart. And those are the moments where I know God is patting me on the back like, bro, I got you. I also wrote down in my notes, what does weed do for me? For somebody who don't have a job, who can't piss clean for, you know, some $20-some dollar, $23 an hour, you know, like a Frito-Lay or a warehouse or something like that. Why do you smoke, CJ? Will you ever stop smoking? And my answer to that is I smoke weed because I've noticed that my hyper sense of awareness can be my greatest downfall. When I should be asleep and giving my brain and body and mind and all of that a break, I will literally sit there upright all night staring at the wall trying to figure out problems that just all it's going to take is time. I can't force anything to happen. So when I smoke weed, that is almost like I'm being forced to relax, sit down, and let things process. Get you some sleep, eat you some food, and you'll be fine. So that's why I feel like it's not very important, but it's one of the necessary evils that I do require in my life, because a lot of times I would not be very logical based off of how long I've been smoking weed and the effect that it's always had. It's never made me want to lash out. There are times where I don't even feel like smoking, where I feel like, you know, I'm not even feeling the effects because I'm so angry, because I'm so depressed or whatever the case may be, where I do understand sometimes it don't even make a difference. I treat it the same way that I treat the little games that I play either on my phone or when I had the Nintendo Switch. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. And I'm somebody that, you know, like my brother would try to advise me to do, is you need to find something that get your mind off of unemployment. Find something that get your mind off of the situation. And, you know, I recognize how full of shit people are, because When I used to have a job and live from check to check and having to pawn shit and having little to no money, next thing I know, my my phone bill and my gym bill hit. Now I'm broke. And it's the feeling of, okay, at least I have a job to go to. At least I have somewhere to go to know I'm earning money. And it didn't even have to be as bad as it was, but they didn't offer some of what these other jobs offer you, to take money out of your check before you get it. And because I was having my direct deposit through Cash App don't allow that. They have all that, borrow and all of that shit. Other apps, they allow you to take money out of your paycheck, where your paycheck might be small, but you don't ever have to worry about being flat broke. Excuse me. I have to make myself burp, y'all, because of the indigestion. So, I want to play this right here. And this is something that I found very, very important, because it's detailing exactly what I talk about the physical realm and the spiritual realm. Some people, they just don't have it. Okay. They just don't have it. Some people have a very secular, material definition of life, while there are other people who understand that what I'm going through, I'm not the first person to go through this. Where I feel like there is a demonic, retarded presence that is like blanketed over a majority of the world. People are selfish. People are very self-centered. People have a rat leaving a sinking ship mentality. You start to experience what it is to be a real warrior for Christ when you understand the spirit realm and you understand certain things. Like, I don't care how many jobs you got. I don't care how many degrees you got. I don't care. Because if you don't understand the spirit realm, it'll lead to shit like my brother committing suicide because nobody was able to penetrate through that barrier in his mind of, do you know what happens when you take yourself out? Do you know the narrative that's going to be created by people who knew why you did this? You lost the life fight, buddy. You lost the fight of life, meaning you thought that this girl leaving you, you lost your job, you lost your car, you lost your apartment, and then you got to go live back at mom and dad's. The thought of that had you more afraid to keep living life than somebody to explain to you, bro, this is your first real spiritual test in life. What you think? What did you think a test in life consists of? You gonna lose something like every now and again? No. You might have the same hereditary spiritual challenges that your brother had, me, and that you're gonna have to talk to a guy like that. Not talk to the pastor, your dad, my dad, not talk to the deaconess, your mom, my mom. No. You're gonna have to talk to me, the guy that helped you get an apartment in 48 hours when you was running around trying to, CJ, how the hell do you get an apartment, bro? How y'all get that apartment out there in Houston? And I showed you how to get it and you got it. Did anybody call me and say, thank you for helping Jeremiah like that? Nope. Did anybody call me and say, how the hell did you, we so used to being put on a waiting list. How did you do that? Nope. So let me play this real quick.
Societal constructs, effectively subjective value statements.
Do you think my victims thought I was evil?
Why is it so important that I think you're evil?
Legion mihi nomen est, quia multi sumus.
Sorry, my Latin's a little rusty.
My name is Legion, for we are many. See, James, it's not just about you or Edward, for that matter. It's about everyone. The entire human race. All of us against all of you.
Well, that's the case, your side's not doing too well.
Do you really believe that, James?
Yeah.
Listen to this stupid ass nigga. And this is what I mean by I can't talk to most people, because most people, when I make videos about racism and hate speech and all of this stuff, these are the people, listen to what he's about to say, these are the people that get listened to. These are the people that get taken serious. Not this demonic possessed dude here that's telling you, bro, I've been in this fight for a millennia. Okay? Listen to him.
We've never been freer. Literacy is at an all-time high.
Look how he laughing in his face.
To eliminate racism, intolerance.
Look how he laughing at him.
People can love who they want, be who they want, do what they want. Diversity is no longer a dream. Hate speech is no longer tolerated. And politically, we're reclaiming the moral high ground.
I think I love you. Literacy, James. James, the average high school graduate reads at a 6th grade level. You have basketball players making $30 million a year to cry racism, all while wearing sneakers made from slave labor. Now, here's something for you. Right now, your world currently has 40 million slaves. More than the Romans had at the height of their empire. You want to know the best part, though? Half of those, half, are sex slaves. Okay?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
As for hate speech, well, you want to hear some irony? We didn't even come up with that one. You did it all by yourself.
Huh.
Sometimes you amaze even us.
Yeah.
I fail to see the humor.
Bottom line is you're done.
You're
It's over, that's it.
That's it.
And we did it all right to your face, James. And now there's evil everywhere.
These niggas done towed his fucking remote up. They just... The sensor on the remote is all fucked. Because of whatever. Anyway, he's explaining why the battle already is lost. There are more people like this guy right here with a degree who can't feel and don't have a sense of anything spiritual. The war has already been lost. And this is why when I was telling my brother about this movie while we was playing basketball, see that once again, this is why your bitch should be at home while two men are out there conversating. I'm trying to explain to my brother, yeah, man, I saw this movie and this ain't like no Paranormal Activity, no Annabelle. This is a movie that is telling you, I think it's on Tubi, and it's telling you, for all you Bible thumping, for anybody who thinks that there is no such thing as demonic possession, that there is not a he's telling you that there's more evil in this world than it is good. Does that make sense? I've said this 1,000 times. It is easy to pick on the person who's standing all by themselves, but know that they have God backing them, than to go find somebody in the group to go bother. Hive mind thinking. And this is the shit that I do the same thing. When I hear people talking about racism and all of that, I laugh just like this man here. Just like it. Because I understand that there are more stupid, uninformed, disengaged, unwilling people walking this planet, in this house, than there are people who can calmly sit there and explain to you, CJ, you already are going through things that people that are older than you, much older than you, can identify as spiritual warfare. Why haven't you taken yourself out like your brother? Because you have a sense of this physical world can't stop me. Everything that has happened to me have been things that are out of my control. I can't do anything about it. My roommate used to say, bro, it seemed like every time something bad happened to you, you never get the last word. I said, yeah, I know. I said, it's crazy that you noticed that. People that say crazy shit to me, do me wrong, jobs that have fired me. There's literally moments in which I go through where I want to retaliate, but I can't do nothing about it. I have to just take it and go. And then you hear about people saying stuff like, man, I would have whooped their ass. Man, I would have did this. Man, I would have did that. Would you? Would you? I told a story about a situation I got into with a guy at work where he said he was going to slap me. And I get so angry where, like a pit bull, I would rather walk in the opposite direction and dare you to come behind me and do what you said you're going to do versus me walking up to you saying, do it, do it, do it, do it. And his reaction, I told myself they would have fired me way before they did for the whole Wallace situation if I would have acted like him. If they would have told the manager, Charles was the one that said he was going to slap him. Charles was the one that said, what you going to do? What? But because this is a lower level person on the spiritual totem pole, he got a chance to just keep on working.
And no one even cares.
I forgot. The point that I was making about my brother's girl was while I'm sitting there telling him about this movie, and she keeps saying, I don't watch stuff like that. I don't watch stuff like that. First of all, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you, why don't you watch stuff like that? You're trendy. You watch what's trending. I don't expect you to go watch a movie like this and then have a deep conversation with your man about something that you think is very important in a film like this. No, I don't expect you to do that. You're too stupid. You're too stupid. Or like the video I'm going to show you next. For whatever reason, you just wasn't chose to see that level of reality. I can play basketball 2 times a day, all of that. My brother, who's been doing this for 20 years, which I've already kind of, shed light on that whole facade of him thinking he's some great basketball player, but he's not. We can do simple drills and I'll have this dude missing every goddamn shot, losing the ball, quit, and then want to go home. Because in his mind, I'm too good of a basketball player to be missing shots like this. I'm too good of a painter not to paint this whole house, so I'm just not going to paint it. But what sense does that make? You're obviously having parts of your game being peeled back to see, oh, I wasn't as good as I thought I was. But I'm sitting there telling my brother about this movie, and she's saying, you know why I don't watch movies like that? You know why I told you she just kept trying to interrupt, just like the 5-year-old that's here. It could be a house full of people, and he's screaming at top. He's like, Mom, Mom, Mom. They all do it. The daughter, she comes out the room. The daughter is in the room, door closed. Mom's in the room, door closed. She yelled, Mom, from the room. Then comes out the room, Mom, knocks on the door, Mom, retard. So, she then, her 5 minutes of fame, she decides to say, I don't watch movies like that because it allows spirits into my house. By the way, while I'm on that topic, the child, once again, the same child that I told you that likes to run plays so he don't have to go to school, he tried that shit again. His auntie dropped him off and was like, Avery said that he's not feeling good and he wants to throw up. And you know what the mama say? He just mad because he got in trouble today. He just mad because he got in trouble today. Now, is that child not literally, I don't mean possessed like, but is this child influenced by something that's very wicked and sneaky? something that likes to plot and plan and try to figure out where they can get away with something. I think you lost, like that brother said, I think you lost that battle a long time ago. Stupid. Let's finish this up.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Proving that we achieved our goal slowly with your movies, your TV, and your media. We desensitized you, redirected your worldview to the point that you can't even recognize evil when it's right in front of your face.
Nope.
More to the point, James, you can't even feel it when you're doing it.
Nope.
And as for winners and losers, whoa. That gets decided at the time of death. These exact numbers are a closely guarded secret, but there are more of you ending up in my master's house than with the enemy.
Uh-oh. So this house here that says, I love God and, this is the same female that told my brother, you're not going to live with me unless you marry me. And my brother said, bitch, I ain't marrying you. You not marriage quality. There are far more people, my parents included. I should send this to my parents. There are far more of you people that waste your ties. Y'all wasting electricity going to a church house. Y'all doing all of this fluff. And you gonna end up in hell. From what this brother say, serving his master. You're gonna end up in hell. Everything wicked in this world is right in your face. Like he said, desensitized. Y'all can come out with Epstein, Walmart is sponsored by Jeffrey Epstein corporations, and all of the meat inside of the store is kids. People still gonna go. People will still let their children go behind closed doors with a cell phone. God knows what the hell they're watching. A lot of you parents, especially y'all that got daughters and y'all got sons, a lot of y'all will let y'all kids start dating and experiencing what it's like to touch a woman, in her private area and shit like that. But you, as a parent, you're so you haven't been conditioned enough to even take the mantle of I be damned. You're not having a cell phone. You're not having a girlfriend till I think you are ready. And I promise you, you'll be well past 18 years old. But my friends gonna think I'm weird. And when you get to that point in your life and I finally let you loose, you're gonna see that they were the weirdos. They were the perverts. They were the whores and freaks. You know how fucking stupid you look doing this dumb. I mean, again, I try not to lose track of when I was a kid. We were into we was into shit like that. Didn't even know what the lyrics meant. Super soap. Coming on a woman's face. But you got these kids, they put these phones down. And I told you, there's nothing worse than a child that knows they're being annoying and doing stupid shit, but they're still going to do it because they think that that's part of their personality, right? It's just like a wild ass dog. A dog that come over here, he chew up boxing gloves, he chewing up toys, chewing up clothes, and all you do as the owner is come home and say, he just likes to chew. My dog just likes to chew. Until that dog chew up your purse. I've seen dogs chew up some crazy stuff. And have women and men sitting there in a pool of tears wondering, why did you do this? Even though you've been seeing this behavior for years. But like I said, when you got kids doing, I don't even know these stupid dances that they do. And by the time you become an adult and I run that back and show you, look at the shit that you kids used to be into. I mean, it has to be stated, right? If you were born in the 90s, the early 2000s, where you had an opportunity, a small window to live life without a cell phone, without everybody having a TV in their house. You probably had a computer, but it was like a family computer. And you can, I'm so grateful for Facebook and social media to show you a lot of nostalgic shit that you experienced when you grew up. But let's just call a spade a spade. If you were born in like 2003 and up, you are fucked. These kids are being so hammered with dumb shit. Ain't no way in hell. My parents used to make a point of, like, when I got older and I started seeing the type of cartoons that came on Cartoon Network, and I was like, bro, if I would have, let's just say because I had a friend who would stay up all night, and had to get up at 6 to catch the bus. This nigga wouldn't go to bed till like 4. Sometimes he would tell me, man, I ain't even been to bed yet. He would come, go to school, and then come home and sleep the entire evening away. You see how this is a bad habit. Next thing you know, he's waking up at 10 o'clock at night. Now he's up from 11 to 4 to 5 to 6. So he's a night owl because the parents have allowed him to stay up all night. Now his sleep patterns are fucked. Add alcohol and weed on top of that. You got early stages of being a degenerate. So when I mention stuff like a lot of shit that I grew up on was stupid, I was a wrestling fan. But you're not going to tell me back in them days, you had adults that were just as interested in wrestling as kids were. I was never that's another aspect of my personality that I knew I never fit in with my family, because I wasn't no dancing ass nigga. So when my brother and my all them in the room, hey, doing all of that, hell yeah, show them how to do it, baby, show them. I'm standing over there like, and then the parents, look at CJ, you do it, you do it, CJ, you do it. And as a kid, I'm like, man, I ain't doing that dumbass shit. First of all, I wasn't coordinated enough. A lot of that shit was like sissy ass shaking shit. Man, I ain't got time for that shit. I'm a player, nigga. I'm a Mac from like when I was a kid. Like, nigga, this ain't for me, bro. I got a mouthpiece that I use for the honeys. I don't have to sit around and do all this shit to make a female like me. Well, me and my guy, we got a dance group. Let's get in my dance group and we gonna dance. Yeah, let's get in the dance group. Get your... Y'all see why I have to calm myself down, why it takes a lot of energy to make these videos. You guys might think this is funny, but this is not funny at all. This is just I told y'all, in my life, I am Charleston White. I can be funny and look you dead in the face and tell you I'm not fucking playing. I'm not joking. The delivery might be a little funny, but this militant type of attitude that I got, this is the Spirit of God. This is the Holy Spirit that it's like a pit bull with a PSI bite level of 5,000. Like, yeah, sure, I can socialize around the family. I can jump and play in the bed. I can play with the infant. I can go on long walks, take family pictures. I'm a dog that don't drool all over the place. But if I see that you're an intruder, you trying to hurt my owner, which in my life, theoretically, I don't have anybody that I defend like that. But if I feel like you violating, I can turn into a dog or an animal that would, in your definition, be put down because I'm too aggressive. He just attacked me out of nowhere. That's what you thought. There's somebody like Caesar Milan to come tell you, there's no such thing as a bad owner. I mean, a bad dog. They're bad owners. I'm here to trade the owner. Sort of like this place. These kids are not as bad as you think they are. It's the parents. Every day that I've been at this house, I can tell you exactly how to change these things about the kids. I could show you, and I don't even have to charge you. Free therapy, free counseling, family counseling. Nobody's going to listen to me. Instead of just giving up on the kids like my brother has, like the mother, they've given up on these kids. What do I mean by that? They've given up because the kids have, I keep comparing it to dog-like behavior, right? Some people just have animals that are so out of control that if it wasn't for a backyard, if it wasn't for a collar and a chain, a kennel, the dog would completely tear up the house. And you loving the dog so much and being around the dog and have raised the dog, you don't see the last thing you want to do is put the dog down. The last thing you want to do is give the dog away. For you dog lovers out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. You'll go pay $250 a session to get the dog trained. Next thing you know, the dog still ain't trained. I used to have a dog that every time the dog got scared, it would just piss and shit everywhere. Love the dog. Dog had 1,000 things I loved about it. But them 3 things right there, where you just get so spooked about whatever's going on that you just start releasing your bowels on my pillow, on my bed, on my sheets, all of that, that was a problem. Because now I'm using resources to have to clean this shit up. Y'all have given up on these kids to the point where you throw responsibilities on these kids that the parents should be doing. And then the children follow behind the parents because the children recognize the value in what the parent does. When my mama and my daddy sweep this kitchen and clean everything up, they're doing this because they don't want to see roaches and rats in the house. I've always said that if you make these kids go stay with my parents, it would turn them inside out to the point where they would feel like they in prison. But they will start to understand, oh, so it is a little retarded to play my phone on the highest volume possible. And I'm in a public, I'm in the living room with other people around. Oh, it is a little out of control to eat my meal on the couch back here when you got a kitchen table right here. And you got food and chicken bones, you guys. Chicken bones stuck in the couch. Yeah, it is a little destructive when I decide to entertain myself with my brothers and shit, so they make me go outside. So, I'm going to show y'all this other clip. Finish it up. But like I was saying, I'm just running plays. Everything that I'm doing and I've been doing is just for the sake of having somewhere to stay, buying some time until I try to figure out what I'm going to do. I don't give a fuck about playing basketball with you, bro. I don't give a fuck about your corny ass jokes and your girl's corny ass jokes. I don't give a fuck about my parents in a way that I'm gonna grieve so much so when they're gone. I don't give a fuck about none of you niggas. And if I could tell God to his face, God, why do I have this feeling? God gonna tell me it's okay, CJ. Because you recognize the huge disadvantage that you have being born into a family like this. And it's not like you have not tried. CJ, you have tried. CJ, there have been more times in your life where you've been disappointed and sad for the family that you've been born into. CJ, you've seen other families and their level of compassion for one another. And you see what your family does, and it sickens and saddens you that your people have the nerve to say, we a family, but this is how they help you. This is how they help you. This is their definition of help. Having somebody bother for giving you $10. Having somebody bothered, because I asked to come over and cut your grass, wash your car for money. If my brother was to say, are you really trying, bro? How many family members have I offered, hey, man, can I come over and cut the grass? My uncle, hey, I'm going on my anniversary trip this weekend. Oh, well, congratulations, Unc. I guess I'll catch up with you later on. Because my uncle, he's a guy that will put you on in an old school way as far as work. And he at one time was trying to, kind of browbeat me to death, like, you think you want to come work for me? I'm like, bro, look here, man. I'm 32 years old, my nigga. I know you gonna treat me like you gonna treat the Mexicans out there. You gonna want me to work fast. You want me to do all this type of stuff. That, trust me, I'm not afraid. Last time I went to work with you, bro, I was a teenager and I didn't have the physical stamina to keep up with the guys that you had me working with. I'm ready for the experience. I want to go out there and spend some time with that side of my family, so on and so forth. If these niggas was to actually look at all my messages from Facebook to family members to for a man to sit there and tell me you ain't trying hard enough. That's like me sitting there telling my brother, I don't think you trying hard enough to live in this house that you know is inhabitable. I don't think you trying enough. You know what he gonna tell me? Motherfucker, I come home every day, don't I? You don't see me stepping out on this female, huh? You don't see me abusing these kids because I'm tired of this. No, nigga, I shut the fuck up and I keep pushing forward. Same here. You would think it's disrespectful if I told you that, because you're going to be like, nigga, you live with me. You see what I have to go through. I don't think you're trying. Nope. I don't think you're trying hard enough.
Movies, your TV, and your media, we desensitized you, redirected your worldview to the point that you can't even recognize evil when it's right in front of your face. More to the point, James, you can't even feel it when you're doing it. And as for winners and losers, whoa. That gets decided at the time of death. The exact numbers are closely.
Sorry, but, that goes to say when my brother starts going off into this, you need to find you a female to live off of and stuff like that. Brother, that is pure evil because you're siphoning somebody's life force for the sake of yours. Okay? So I'm going to feel it. Because the situation is right there in my face. I'm going to feel that I'm doing it. I'm doing something wrong in life. I'm doing somebody wrong. You apparently don't have that feeling. That feeling of, I can really be by myself, but I choose to want to partner up with somebody to take the load off of myself. As a man, you want to take the load off of yourself.
Guarded secret, but there are more of you ending up in my master's house than with the enemy. A lot more, Jimmy.
However you book
Okay.
First check kayak.
So you get my point. I'll be right back in the second video, guys. I'll see y'all in a second. All right. About 7 months ago, when I was homeless, before I went to work, I was listening to one of the channels that I listened to. This one is called Pockets of the Future. And he had said something that it almost felt like I had physically got burned. As the way I reacted was like, this is why, if it wasn't for social media, a lot of people probably would be on medication. Psychiatrists, counselors would be making a lot more money. Because what this guy is about to say is something that I consider a message from God. And it confirms a lot of what I talk about. I saved this 6 months ago. I have clips of it in my YouTube clips section, but it's difficult. I would have to make so many little short videos to try to explain it. So I just wanted to take advantage of being here by myself, playing it on the TV. And a lot of people might ask, why do you do this, man? Why do you live with these people? You telling how a low functioning dumbass stooge would sound. Why are you telling their business? Why are you documenting all of this? It's because, if for no other reason, I want to look back. If YouTube is still around a decade from now, and there's no doubt about it, when the time comes where my channel is recognized, I start doing interviews and getting on panels with other people. I do believe, just like Charleston White, that I will be paid for what come out this mouth. Because I believe I have a spiritual connection to God that nobody else in my family has. If they do have it, it's very undeveloped because they have not took risk and chances in life. I took a risk and a chance based off of everything that I've accumulated before I left my parents' house, of how to live off the land, how far being courteous and respectful of others can take you. When you put forth the effort to do anything in life, if it don't turn out exactly how you want, you'll at least get an answer as to where you went wrong, and several other things. So I didn't never have a fear of being by myself. Okay, so I want to play this, and so it can give context. Out of 515 videos I've done, this is probably going to be a better one where I don't have to ever really explain this ever again. So here we go. And please subscribe to this man's channel, Pockets of the Future. Please, if you're somebody out there who you're looking for some type of answer as to why you think you're different, Pockets of the Future is a great channel to help you realize that what you learn in school, what you might learn in home, in church, through your religion, all of it can set you up to be an empty, soulless, well, I don't say soulless, but a godless person, where everything to you will be based off of what you can see with your eyes. So here we go.
Types of things. But the reason I know this much better than this person is because I've experienced that in this life. If you're around somebody, there's these higher developed souls. There's people who are really spiritual. There's really good people, wholesome people, like salt of the earth people. And then there's saintly people. And then there's people who are, spiritual people that have been entrusted with a higher level of a higher calling to do divine work. And they have a presence, they have an aura about them, they have an energy that's undescribable. And, the thing about it is like, not everybody can see it. So it's, like, first of all, you just have to be fortunate enough or deserving enough, or, you've had some kind of experience where you are fortunate to be around such a person and you can benefit from their teaching, right? Not really their teaching, because the teaching is just, it's their energy and their presence. When you're around a higher developed soul, it's like domesticated dogs and domesticated cat.
Before he starts, this is why I think I'm supposed to be doing this. In the video I just posted, that's an hour and something long, I gave the exact example that this man is about to give, that I didn't know he was about to say this. But I compared it to a domestic dog and a cat. You walk outside one day, get your ass out of here, cat. Get your nasty ass out of here, dog. Then some days you feel like, oh, well, we can take, because people run into stray animals all the time, right? And just like these cats out here, or you've seen in my YouTube shorts, those two dogs that aren't here anymore. But when they were here, you get caught up and, sometime you throw a piece of bread or a chicken bone or something like that. But overall, you don't, in your mind, you're not taking care of the dog or the cat, right? Them dogs and cats don't expect for anybody to put food out for them, right? The cat lady that just buys cat food and just feeds all the cats or whatever the case may be, right? There is not a what he's about to say about domestic stray animals. I don't know what he's about to say, but I think he's about to say exactly what I said, which is how I feel about being around my people. I'm a scared, shy, timid pit bull, red-nosed pit bull that comes up to you, wagging its tail for your affection. And some days you might kick me. Some days you might throw away an entire Thanksgiving meal and forget that there's a dog out there in the cold that could use some chicken bones. And then when you have company come over, they may say, is that your dog? And you be like, nah, ain't my nasty ass dog. That dog just stay around here. Dog has never done anything to you. The dog don't shit and piss in your yard. The dog don't do anything but just expect for you to pet it every now and again. Or, acknowledge the fact that the dog or the cat is around. Like, hey, little buddy, what's up? Pet the dog on his, pat him on the side and go on about your way. So let's hear this.
Cows. A dairy cow that is hand milked by a family, its consciousness is so much different than meat cows just sitting there in a pasture. Cows that interact with people are much different than the cows that are just sitting there in the pasture eating, wherever they are, right? The ones that there's affection there and there's some kind of relationship, any pets. The animal's consciousness is raised by being around people. Those animals are smarter. They're more, they're just different. Because
okay, never mind. He ain't saying what I thought.
They're with higher developed beings, right? You're elevating their consciousness. I mean, if you think about what your pets do for you and how they, make you pick you up and, their enthusiasm and their energy and their, especially like dogs, but cats have their own, whatever. And being around these animals. And, people just look at cows, but when I milked a cow for a couple of different cows for 6-7 years, I really enjoyed it. I like interacting with the cows and these things. And there's an exchange of energy. And, there's a level of where those cows will have a better chance of being, cows and dogs and pets have a better chance of incarnating as a human next life than other animals. It's the transmigration of the soul. They're pulled up and they get in touch with human consciousness. And the more service, the more loving they are, the more, the better they are in terms of their relationship with the people, the better owner they have, the higher developed the owner is, the better chance that they become something more in a future life, right? And so
the same thing applies with the children. If the parents put off a demonic, angry, bitter, I don't want to be bothered type of personality, the children pick up on it too. I told you, they all act the same. There is not a moment when I'm here that nobody outside of myself is being the more mature person. I don't see it. I don't see it. I told you more times than not, the 5-year-old is the one that's telling everybody, hey man, be quiet. Turn that shit down on your phone. almost make me think that he's someone, he's been here before. The parents look at him and say, oh, he just has personality and that's how he is. No. The atmosphere that y'all have created has put him in a position where mentally he doesn't know if he wants to be a kid that play with toys or if he wants to involve himself in things that are 5, 6, 7, 8 years older than him. So it's the same thing with my father coming home telling us, I hope that the way I live my life as a man, I hope my boys take after my example and do the same thing because it works.
Because I've had this experience in this life, and it's not something I could describe, but being around Master Charji, there's lots of great higher developed souls in the Sajmarg meditation. People who are very impressive, some people very smart, wise people, people who are just loving and service oriented. I mean, there's some real gems. And, they're all great. Like there's a guy, one time Charji came to Texas. There were a lot of rich Indians who had good jobs. They came over from India.
Okay. So that's that. And then I had another one that I don't have to show you guys because I'm kind of getting tired of talking. Been talking for a while. I've never talked this much consistently. And that is when you are a spiritual person, somebody who practices meditation, somebody that has an inner world that is calm and things like that, a lot of times you do wish to die and just not be here anymore. Again, when you're around people that are low functioning, you're in a system that is very difficult to find a job. It's very difficult to keep a job. It's even more difficult to deal with the inner workings of a job because you might have homosexuals, you might have lesbians, gays, whatever the case may be. So if you're somebody who is on a certain spiritual path, it might bother you, given the fact that what type of individual it is, because you got gays that are quiet, but then you have some that are more loud and boisterous, and they can really make the atmosphere very, very annoying. So I do feel a great sense of wanting to not be here anymore. Like I felt like I've lived this life already. Like he said in the video, I did not get on my hands and knees and ask God to make me smarter than everybody. God, can you make me spiritual? I didn't do any of that. I was a kid like a domestic animal that just wanted to fit in with my family. I don't have the best car, but I have a car. I don't have a job, but I don't have the best job, but I got one. I don't have the best clothes, but I got decent clothes. The more I began to realize that my life is very difficult because of, it's like being an athlete that your coach sees when you're done doing suicides or running the hill or whatever, and your coach is like, why aren't you tired? And you'd be like, I don't know, I'm just not tired. You'll have some people that say, well, you must not be putting forth the effort, when you're like, I'm doing the same exercise as everybody else. Yeah, but you not huffing and puffing like everybody else. Well, motherfucker, maybe I'm in better condition than everybody else. You think I'm not working hard because I'm not stressing myself out. I'm not crying and I'm not, going to the extreme to want to see results. Nuh-uh. I do what I have to do and I let God handle the rest. Literally, let him handle the rest. And that's when I smoke weed and sit the fuck down and play a game on my phone or keep thumbing through jobs or make videos when I know, okay, for this 12 hours of a day, if I had to go to work or if I didn't have a job, I need to do what's put in front of me first. And then we can have pleasure afterwards. So, in closing, I'm going to say everything again to sum it all up. What I have been going through since I've been here for 7 months, and my definition, it has harmed me more than helped me. I never thought that a family actually lived like this. I never thought it was possible for a man such as my brother, coming from where we come from, to accept this. I never thought in my wildest fantasy I would have to live with my brother under these type of circumstances, let alone live with him, period. I feel like my parents don't know who I am or what I'm about. The very brother that I I'll go to bat for and stuff like that, he doesn't know who I am and what my intentions are in life. I am tired of thinking for other people when I know that I'm doing everything that I can to support myself. I have no love in my heart for these people. And I know it's a righteous feeling because I have opened my heart to love y'all. But because y'all are so cold, selfish, and a plethora of other words, for the sake of time, you guys are the exact reason why I enjoy being by myself. Nobody is going to tell me I'm not trying more than me. I don't want anybody to care about my life more than me because I care with the ultimate amount of effort and concern for my own life. You only get one. And I take that one life very serious. I don't want to live here anymore. Even if I do get a job, I don't want to live here anymore. Hopefully this is the last experience of living with people that I ever go through, because I know without a shadow of a doubt now, I'd much rather go. There are going to be moments where I'm just lost and need to talk to somebody, but as far as living with someone else, it's not going to happen. Because I'm going to remember these times like this. So if you guys understand what I'm saying, I appreciate y'all listening. And I really believe, like I said, what that guy said at the smoke shop, that I'm being stretched so far back that by the time I let that shit go, that arrow is going to just penetrate through stainless steel. And I'm going to just sit there and look at my people like, y'all had no faith in me. I really do see a scenario where my wife is going to say, or my women, whatever I choose, they're going to tell my people like, y'all didn't have no faith in him. Y'all thought this dude was a joke. Look how he raised my kids. Look how he treat me. The type of stuff this man tell me behind closed doors, it breaks my heart that y'all treated him like this. Now that I live with him and we sleep in the same bed and he cries and tells me all of the pain that he experienced for 20 years, you guys ought to be ashamed of yourself. And y'all are gonna die without ever having a relationship with the most intelligent person, the most loving, the most compassionate, the most understanding person in y'all's family. Because he don't talk about motors and he don't talk about shoes. I tried opening my heart and my mind to ignore the many flaws that my people got. But everything has made a full circle back around to the way I thought about them before my brother died, which is you niggas are stupid and you ain't worth shit. Y'all not even worth talking to because y'all not good listeners. Because again, you will then have the nerve to say, I don't think you trying as hard as you say you are. I don't think you doing the things that you say you do, even though I got the proof of every single thing that I put forth in front of myself as a goal. I've either accomplished it or I'm waiting to accomplish it. By my brother telling me and everybody saying you keep trying to get these fast food, motherfucker, I'm trying to get a job, period. Period. I don't want to sit here when I know I could be flipping a patio, cleaning shit off the floor, or working behind somebody's cash register just for the sake of y'all seeing me, work 12-hour days and shit and all of that crap, which is nothing wrong with that. But the point is I'm trying to find some type of employment, and I don't have Captain Pride, my brother. I think that's what I'm going to start calling him now. Captain Pride and Twinkies. Twinkie is going to be his girl's name from now on. Captain Pride and Twinkies. I just want a job. I just want to contribute to society, save my money, and find my own space to be able to live out the rest of my life. So, thank you guys, and I'm out.